Hi everyone, welcome back to Drawing Fundamentals. I know a lot of people are probably just wanting to just get straight to how do you draw a face. And I was like that when I was first learning, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. I just want to know how to draw a face, so just hurry up and just teach me how to draw a face. Well, the thing about drawing faces is the sad thing is your head is attached to your neck, and your neck is attached to your rib cage, and so forth. You know, and a human being is actually made up of more than just a head. So, and you will realize later on that you need to learn how to draw a lot of other stuff before you even get to the head, because a lot of times, like if you're drawing a figure that's so far away, you won't see any of the features of the face. So if you're doing illustration, if you're doing comic book work, if you're doing children's books, you need to learn how to draw everything else before you can even get to that part that you probably enjoy the most. So you need to learn how to draw landscapes, trees, mountains. You have to learn about atmosphere and, even how to draw dirt, how to suggest texture, all these different things before you get to drawing the figure. And a lot of times, you do all that stuff just so you can just hurry up and get it out of the way. But the thing is, you need to create a pleasing picture. And the environment that the figure is in is also as important as the figure itself. So what we'll be looking at now in this one is we'll be looking at the human figure, and we'll be going from simple to specific. So yeah, so in the next few videos it'll just be all about the human figure. So in this you'll learn how to draw the head. But the stage we'll be looking at is, I'll just list it down so you can know, is we'll be looking at proportions first of the whole human figure. Then number 2, we'll be looking at the trunk or the torso, whatever you want to call it. And number 3, we'll be looking at the limbs, which is the hands and the feet. Well, the arms and the legs, I'll just put it, which includes the hands and the feet. And last of all, we'll be looking at the head. Okay? Because a lot of problems that people run into, they might draw really nice, portrait and stuff, but then they'll try and figure out a way of hiding the hands. Like, how can I put the hands so that you can't see them and only the face is visible? And a lot of times you can't go past that. You have to draw the hands sooner or later, or the feet. You can't just keep putting gloves and shoes on them just so they're not seen, and have them in like a winter setting. So all the rest of the body is hidden under clothes, and all you can see is the face. You can't keep doing that. There's no way of running away from the rest of these. So we'll look at those first, get the so-called boring stuff that you might think is boring out of the way first, and then we'll go on to the head. Now, when it comes to the head, we'll be looking at a few different ways of drawing it. There's the general, which is the generally accepted method, and these are proportions that are pretty consistent throughout all the different drawing methods. We'll be also looking at the Riley method, which is a more gestural method. And there's also a Riley method for drawing the figure and everything, but we won't really go into that. And there's also the Loomis method for drawing the head. There's also a Loomis method for drawing the figure, as well as the Riley method. But we won't really go into the detail of teaching everything that Loomis had taught. And so those are the basic few that we'll be looking at. Okay, so quickly what we'll do is looking at the human figure, the proportions of the figure, which includes the head. Okay, so we'll draw a straight line going down the page. Okay, and then we'll just Now the human figure is anywhere from about 6.5 to about 8 heads tall. On average, an average person is about 7.5 heads tall. So we'll be drawing an average person here. So we'll just draw a head in there. So that's 1 head, 2 heads, 3 heads, 4, sorry, too long, 4 heads, 5, 6, 7, and a half. Okay, so that's the floor. 7.5 heads tall. So the basic proportions are this. If you divide the second head into 3 parts, okay, now remember I told you how to measure. You can either use it like this or use it like this. When you're standing next to an easel, use your thumb and the tip of the pencil, but because you're so close to a piece of paper, just use the tip of your pointer finger and just kind of make sure that it's divided into thirds, and this is, and that's generally where the shoulder line will go. Now so that's one, I'll put 1/3 here, okay, so 1/3. Now the width across this way is 2 heads, so I'll put 2 there. Okay, I'll probably put it above so it's easier to see. 2 heads. So the way you do it is just bring this down, bring that down. So take the same distance here, put it across. Same distance there, put it across. So you got 2 heads wide. So that's where the shoulders are. Right there. Okay, and round about where the second head ends is where the nipples are going to be, okay, for both men and women. Generally the women's a little bit lower, okay, but if it's a young girl, it'll probably be in the same place. Now on the third head is where your navel is, or you might know it as the belly button. On the fourth head right here is where the groin area is, okay, and if you take this and just half it right there, so that's about 1.5 heads from the groin there. That's where the knee sits, so the knee will sit there. Okay, so that's where the groin is, which is round about where the waist is. So that's where the hips are, sorry, right there. And then, of course, the ankles are down there, so we'll draw it right there. And then the feet come out there. So this is just a really simple representation, just so you can know where things sit. And then the arms. So the elbow comes just above the navel, just right there. And normally it'll come out a bit because the rib cage actually will push your arm out a bit. So the rib cage is coming there, so it pushes your arm out a bit, so it always comes out that way. And your wrist is just above your hips there, just above your groin area, okay. And then your hands come about halfway down your thigh. Just right there. So those are the basic proportions there, and you know, it's up to you how you finish off drawing it. You can draw like that. So this will be more of a, it looks more like a woman because it has that smaller waist and also the wider hips, which are normally, a woman's hips are wider than the shoulders, okay, and the men's shoulders are wider than their hips, either equal to or wider than the hips, and that's how you can tell the difference. But those are the basic proportions of a human body, okay. So in the next few videos we'll break it down into the different parts, and I'll show you actually what it looks like and how to draw them. So see you in the next few videos.